up, geeks and gamers? It is your boy Q
and QMG.
And we're here to bring you guys into the Quniverse, where we talk to you guys about everything geeky, gamey, and nerdy. And you already know how we do. We GQ smooth, and we own our P's and Q's. Yeah. So we're here to bring you guys the ultimate podcast, where we talk to you guys about everything going on in the nerdy, gamey, culturally world. And what better way to look at you guys' beautiful faces on the internet and not have to talk to you guys about the most amazing service out right now, which is Disney Plus. Disney Plus is a streaming service that has almost, not all, but almost every single Disney movie ever made.
Yes.
And if
and some, we can't forget this, and some that they acquired in the Fox acquisition, like Avatar being the marquee name from the Fox side that they acquired.
Definitely.
That.
Yes. So with that being said, shout out Ken, shout out Craig. Appreciate you guys for tuning in. What's up? Yes. Kamani right here, my little brother, he's actually downstairs asleep. But with that being said, Disney Plus, for anybody who loves Disney movies such as Pixar, Toy Story, Pocahontas, Mulan, Beauty and the Beast, Cinderella, all movies.
The Pixar joints,
yes,
all the
Monsters Inc.,
all the Star Wars joints, all of the Marvel joints.
Yes, all 22 of the MCU movies are actually on Disney streaming. And might I say, The Mandalorian, a Star Wars television show. Yeah, that's Kamani. Yeah, that's him. That's Craig. Remember Curtis' cousin Craig?
Oh, snap! Yeah. Big Craig, what's going on?
But yeah, so The Mandalorian, the Star Wars show, man, the show is amazing. They really put a high budget, because, Disney owns everything, but they really put a high budget into the show, and I definitely love it. So just a small disclaimer, guys, if you don't have it, there's a 7-day free trial for Disney Plus. You guys go on and cop that, my geeks and gamers. Go and cop it. We were just watching Phineas and Ferb. Appreciate it, man. We're going to keep up the good work. I see you teaching your son how to get on them drums and on the court. I see you. Good stuff. Yeah. But yeah, so definitely get Disney Plus. It's amazing. It's definitely worth it. And they actually have a Hulu bundle. So if you already have a pre-existing Hulu account, go ahead and cop that, and it'll be like...
You get Hulu, you get Disney Plus, and you get ESPN Plus.
It's in the game.
That's EA. You're about to get us yammed.
But no, EA did ESPN's basketball.
No.
Or who did it?
No, they're independently owned by TNT.
Oh, say less. Well, let's just take back what I just said. Anyway, but yeah, just to go right into it, the first topic, with Disney Plus, that opens a lot of doors, as we've seen throughout the weeks, if you've been keeping up with it. With Disney Plus, now Netflix is partnering deeper with Nickelodeon to bring more original content through Nickelodeon, and also bringing back older shows and putting catalog of new shows. Hopefully, fingers crossed, they give me every season of SpongeBob. If they give me that, I gotta subscribe to that too. But
it's looking like it, because back in the day, I know that Nickelodeon has multiple deals with both Hulu and Netflix, but that will now be predominantly going to Netflix. I know that Power Rangers since Nickelodeon is like joint with Hasbro, all of the seasons of Power Rangers are on Netflix because of the Nickelodeon's deal. Yes. And it's looking like they've already announced a Squidward spinoff show for Netflix, which isn't all of that hype-inducing, for the simple fact that Steven Hillenburg was 100% against any spinoff shows for SpongeBob, and it kind of looks iffy that they waited for him to pass away to announce something like this. But we'll see how it shakes out. But yeah, this is definitely exciting for Netflix and Nickelodeon to be teaming up. Also, with HBO Max and Warner Brothers and that whole clique, Cartoon Network is in the same type of situation with HBO Max. They signed an exclusive deal. They already announced things like Adventure Time, new Adventure Time's middle.
Yeah, the Cowboys won.
Y'all beat the Detroit Lions. Y'all beat them like they stole something. I was keeping up with the highlights. But yeah, they're definitely doing something with Cartoon Network and HBO Max. They definitely got the Adventure Time spinoff shows, where it's kind of showing what happens after the series finale.
Thank you. That's what I really want. That's really going to get me back invested in Adventure Time.
So that's something that will be interesting to see going forward. But that's the only thing They have, so that's the only thing I have announced right now.
Yeah.
So that's definitely exciting. What other things are you looking forward to between now that?
Well, with the Netflix Nickelodeon, like I said before, seeing SpongeBob every season, because really, me personally, I only like seasons 1 through 5, but to go through and get the whole season, the whole series would definitely be a good watch. Ready to see these originals that they might be coming out with, because I'm pretty positive they're going to be bringing back some older shows like they did with Rocko's Modern Life.
Yeah.
They had the movie, then they had the little mini series. But definitely some of the older catalogs, because Disney has Doug right now. But does Nickelodeon get to still use the Nickelodeon's Doug?
From my understanding, yes, they would both be able to use both of those. That's why you don't on Disney Plus. You don't, and it's B.
Yeah, yeah. I sure was like, who is that?
I know, but yeah, Disney definitely that's why you don't see none of the Spider-Man movies will ever be on Disney Plus, because they're still the solo movies are owned by Sony. So yeah, I definitely see them doing something like that.
So the Nickelodeon Doug is still with Nickelodeon, like those episodes.
It should be.
Okay, because they don't have any of it. Ski, appreciate you for tuning in, man. Appreciate you for tuning in. So before we move forward, let's get a round of applause for Disney Plus. Disney Plus is definitely a good thing. Once again, you guys who don't have Disney Plus, it's a week free membership. Go get that, cop that. Go watch some Disney movies. Ski, you in general, you love Disney movies. You go watch them, jump. Yes. But yes, with that being said, the next question I'll bring up QMG, and you guys could chime in if you have anything to say. Like we always say, this is y'all podcast. You talk to us, we talk to you guys. How do you feel as Disney Plus is gonna change the game for streaming service? Do you feel like with every streaming service it's just gonna become the same price as cable, or do you feel like it's still gonna be cost efficient and is a better service?
I hope it doesn't become that type of situation where it is just becoming the same as the streaming, current cable business model. It definitely feels like some of them are cognitive of what's going on, and that they're trying their best to keep them as that's why you see these bundles, like in these corporations that have their hands in all of these other entities while they're bundling it. Why you're going to see Disney offer Disney Plus, Hulu, and ESPN, because they own those entities. Why you're going to see HBO Max offer things like all of the CW shows, Cartoon Network shows, TNT, the DC Universe stuff, that type of stuff, and Netflix, leaning to these new or dormant franchises like Nickelodeon, like DreamWorks and stuff like that. So I don't see them becoming the individual prices reaching cable levels.
Like a light,
Big D.
Like a light. We getting on that card in a minute, bro.
But yeah, I don't see them reaching that individually, but. So I do think that it might equate to that overall if you opt to get those streaming services. And that's not even including some of the other ones like Amazon Prime. What up?
What up, bro?
And Amazon Prime,
YouTube Red,
goddamn WWE Network.
WWE Network, yeah.
And that's supposed to be getting an update sometime in the near future.
Yes.
That offers new stuff. Mm-hmm. But you probably won't end up dropping WWE Network the next time that screw up a finish. So, remember that. But, yeah, there's a lot of stuff that can overall reach the price of what cable currently is. But individually, and if you have a specific thing that you want, then don't see that. Or you can just, go full Monkey D. Luffy on it, and that's all I'm gonna say on that.
Well, I definitely agree. I hope they take this opportunity not to see it as video game developers see it and make it a cash grab, where now everything is a streaming service. Like, say they have like, just a hypothetical, Disney's Plus had a streaming service strictly for the movies, and then a streaming service strictly for the television shows.
Right.
Like, we don't want to see those become the norm. We want to keep it the way it is. Netflix has a good formula, so does Disney Plus, so does Hulu. Now, Hulu has a little more commercials than I would like, but it still has a great category, great catalog, and a lot of good shows. Will, appreciate you for tuning in, man. Let me take a break for all my new viewers, all our new viewers viewers. This is Into the Qniverse podcast. Appreciate you guys for tuning in. My geeks and gamers. It's QMG. You can tune in to us every Sunday at 7:30. Yeah, D man. If we're not on, we will definitely let you guys know on our Facebook and our social media sites. So thank you guys for tuning in. We'll talk back about that a little bit later. But with Disney Plus, as I was saying, with Disney Plus being where it is and showing the love and support to give the people the content that they're really wanting, it shows that we've been seeing a lot of this lately. Even if we understand that it's from a money standpoint, we understand that the people upstairs are like, okay, it's that time where what's making us money is actually listening to what the people want. So we understand that it's coming from a money standpoint. Crystal, appreciate you for tuning in.
What's up?
That it's coming from a money standpoint, but we've actually got people that are saying this is what they want. This is what is going to get us the money, is actually listening to the people that's giving us the money to produce these content. And I actually saw Runaways was on Disney Plus.
Me too.
That's very good. I wonder if they're going to renew it for another season or just keep it with those 3 seasons or 2 seasons.
The third season is what's coming up next. So
really? So
yeah.
do you think it's going to keep it on Disney Plus and keep on bringing seasons out?
It depends on how this season does. It definitely something that is a touch and go situation. And as far like we talked about this last time, it doesn't seem like there's any room for the previous entries of the previous television series that Marvel produced. But depending on the fanfare and how much the fans want these characters to return in their current iterations, dictates whether they do or not. So the Runaways, I know because they were already filming and had their season done before this happened, so they kind of were safe. Cloak and Dagger not so much, and Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. this is their last season coming up, so and it's a short episodic season at that, so it's not gonna take a long time to do. So I think that if this season streams well and brings in numbers that Disney likes, I don't see a reason for them to be throwing out the baby with the bathwater.
Definitely.
I don't see that happening.
So also the one thing that a lot of people are really skeptical about is the one thing that Disney Plus does not have, which are rated R movies. No rated R Disney movies, which you would know Fox was actually absorbed by Disney, which in turns mean Deadpool would be a part of the Disney Plus universe if his movies were to be put on the catalog. But his movies haven't been put on the catalog, and a lot of people really want to see Deadpool on the Disney Plus streaming service. Do you think we're going to get that, or do you think they're going to keep it strictly PG to PG-13?
I believe that you'll see Deadpool 2, and all of these other rated R movies that were absorbed by Fox on Hulu.
Like Predator.
Since Hulu will essentially be like Disney Plus Lite because of Disney owning so much of that streaming service. But as far as Disney Plus goes, I don't see that happening. I don't see that that'll be a reason, because there's already enough content where having rated R material isn't something that Disney Plus has to sell it. They're already being sold because you get to watch all of the Star Wars, all of the MCU Marvel movies, all of the Marvel cartoons that have come out that were made. And the only one that you don't see is Spectacular Spider-Man, and that is because Marvel Superhero Squad, and that was because they were done by specific studios that weren't absorbed or have any dealings with Disney. Those are the only two, and Spectacular Spider-Man is the only real loss because of how fantastic it was.
Yeah, I like that.
But because
you guys don't know about Spectacular Spider-Man, go watch that intro. The intro is one of the best Spider-Man songs of all time.
But yeah, it's definitely that, and so that's about it. But other than that, if you're good with Disney Plus, you don't need R-rated stuff, and if you want it, then just go to Hulu. You'll probably end up seeing Deadpool and all of that stuff over there. So
and Disney Plus, guys, Disney Plus also has The Mandalorian. Just one thing, Baby Yoda is the best thing in the whole show.
Super spoilers.
For one episode. Go watch 2 episodes. But I don't care. I don't care.
Super spoilers.
Baby Yoda is the best thing. The man is the most adorable thing on television right now.
Really spoilers.
They don't even know the context of what I'm saying.
And just saying Baby Yoda is a
Go
super
watch The Mandalorian
that's the only context
on Disney Plus right now. But moving forward.
We got a quick fire topic before because it's not going to be that long of an episode today, y'all. So we're going to move over just to this quick anecdote, which kind of leads into our final topic. But the Joker,
yes,
the Joker, the little engine that no one thought would, has broken record after record after record after record after record. It is the most profitable comic book movie of all time. It is the highest grossing. It's one of the highest grossing movies of all time without a China release. And most importantly, it is now officially the highest grossing R-rated film and the first R-rated film to gross over $1 billion. Yes, the Joker has grossed $1 billion. Let's get them applause coming in. Yeah. And what makes that so significant is because, one, it was a niche film. Like me and Q have spoken about multiple times. It's not a 1-to-1 or even a 1-to-2 replication of a Joker origin story. It's very left field. It takes liberties. It's very grounded. It's not no real fantastical elements to it. And it's a niche R-rated film that definitely plays itself straight. Like you're watching, like you
Joe, we appreciate you for tuning in. Hey man, we need to hop on some of that COD, man. I'll be seeing you on there.
Yeah. And it definitely plays itself straight like one of the old 70s, early 80s crime noir films, psychological thrillers. And for that type of movie to gross over $1 billion while also having strong awards talk or behind it, this movie is definitely going to be remembered throughout the ages. When people are going to be talking about Joker and its impact moving forward.
Q, what do you think? After seeing the movie and sleeping on it for month after month,
it's only been 8 months.
Well, it's almost another month coming up. But after weeks after week, I guess I'll say it like that. After watching the movie week after week, the movie isn't the best movie of all time by any means. It's a great movie. It's a good movie. Joaquin Phoenix's performance was good, but I think it's not about the director. It's not about the actor. It's not about the actors in the movie. It's definitely a testament to the Joker's character, his persona, his name, his title, his legend. The movie definitely rode the wings of the character 100%. There's nothing in my mind that is saying the promotion, the actors, the director, none of that carried this movie as much as the Clown Prince of Crime's own persona of why you should go see this movie. Because the movie was a regular movie by any means. It was nothing extra. It was nothing out of place. But it's definitely it was definitely good. And I definitely understand why it made so much, because the Joker is arguably the greatest comic. Ron, appreciate you for tuning in. The Joker's persona, he's definitely the best villain almost in comic books, the most iconic, I'll say. Not the best, the most iconic villain of comic books almost is ever. Batman's biggest villain. So I can understand why people would want to go see the movie and would enjoy seeing this character in a movie, whether or not it's a 1-to-1 or 1-to-2 ratio of his characteristics. So it's not hard to understand why it made so much. But for people who are not comic book fans, I can see how they would be kind of shocked that this specific movie made so much when it's like, oh, it's just a regular crime drama. It's not nothing special, you know.
Well, and to others it was.
Exactly.
And it's a lot of conversations, a lot of people. I wouldn't know. Well, one, it's refreshing that Todd Phillips has been very direct with his intentions. I believe he's clarified a lot of stuff that he didn't have to, that doesn't even negatively affect the movie. It really positively affects the movie.
Yeah.
And even then, just speaking with fans, like, I'll tell you straight up, a lot of my feelings coming out of the Joker, I'm talking to people and hearing stuff, I'm not like kind of changed on how it was, and kind of the dichotomy of how I've looked at the character versus
Kyle,
then.
appreciate you for tuning in, man.
Thank you. And versus then to now, and I keep going back to the conversation we had the initial night, and I'm kind of more leaning towards seeing your point now more than ever, and I think we still need to have like an off-camera conversation about it. But I can definitely see it now and hear and definitely understand your initial point more and more so. So it's definitely a game-changing movie. I said that before the movie came out, that was what it was feeling like. and it definitely seems to have translated that to others. So I'm glad to see it. I hope it does well at the award ceremony, and I hope that this leads to Marvel, DC, Image, whatever, taking more liberties and treating their characters and their worlds more seriously while respecting the characters and not just leaning towards, typical fare, whereas, where they, these characters have been around for 80 plus years, and it's kind of disingenuous to lean on their most iconic or most recognizable features. We sometimes have to remember that these characters are really well thought out, well fleshed out characters, and just because they might have amazing powers or high standing morals doesn't mean you can't try to parlay that into human emotions.
JD, thanks for tuning in.
Human emotions and stuff like that to make them relatable, and that is what I liked about the Joker, and I want to see moving forward. But
I would like to, before we go into our final big topic, just a sidebar with the. Before we get deep into our big topic with the DCEU right now, do you feel like it's in shambles or do you feel like it's in a reparative state?
Well, we need to talk about our big topic. And
just a small sidebar about the stuff before we get to that point.
Right now, I'll put it to you like this. On this date 2 years ago, I would have told you yes. It would have been in shambles. If 2 years ago to 2 years ago on this day, I would have said yes. Since then, I think that it has 100% picked itself back up with Aquaman and Shazam, and what I've seen of Birds of Prey, and what I've heard about Wonder Woman 84, and the casting stuff and ideas I've seen of the Batman. I definitely say it's better, but it's a good thing you bring up the DCU and where it stands and what it looks like moving forward, because for those who don't know, the reason why I say 2 years ago to this day is because today marks the 2-year anniversary of Dick QMG don't want to play games with us, bro. We only people with this. Only QB on the main PlayStation. You don't ever be playing on his PlayStation for me to play with y'all.
What were we gonna play?
Did he say?
But back to the main factor. 2 years ago, the movie that will not be named anymore on this podcast.
All we gonna say is
that Brustus League. Brustus League came out, and it was shambles. It was not what was intended.
Yeah.
It took advantage of a director who cared about his craft but was going through a family tragedy, and he was taken advantage of. So Warner Brothers could crap out a bootleg Avengers movie to win over people who didn't like them anyway and just wanted to get on their bad side and just wanted them to pander to them just so they can say it was bad. But today, the Release the Snyder Cut campaign, something we spoke about on the last podcast 2 weeks ago. Yes. We organized, and I say we, it was we. It was us, the DCEU fandom. We organized and we just tweeted out on social media and other social medias, just released the Snyder Cut, and we just directed it at Warner Brothers.
Hey, QMG, real quick for all our new viewers, could you explain to them what the Snyder Cut is? Just briefly.
One more again. I ain't got no problem with that. The Snyder Cut is basically the intended cut of Justice League. It was the cut of Justice League that had the right people been in the right positions of power, would have been the one we saw. Would have been the one we enjoyed and saw and had our minds blown, and would have helped usher in more DCEU movies that would have operated on their own and tied into something when it needed to. It wasn't like Marvel. It wasn't trying to build to a 10-year plan.
Yeah, man, say just join the party sometime. But no, in his defense, we work different hours. So when I'm on the game, he is most likely asleep. So, and then when you be hearing him, he be walking to the bathroom. So.
But yeah, the Snyder Cut is the intended release of Justice League. It was what it was intended to be.
Yeah.
There's a lot, and I mean a lot of things that have come out over the past 2 years that really just shows just how badly this movie was butchered, how badly it was mangled and just
That's crazy.
Love you too, D man. Love you too, man. Really love. But it just shows how badly it was mangled. Like I spoke on last time, Zack Snyder hasn't even seen, to my knowledge, the Justice League that was put out. The Brustus League. My bad, I misspoke. The Brustus League that came out, and it was just a travesty. It left a lot of bad taste in a lot of people's mouth, especially the DCU fandom. And we knew that the Snyder Cut exists. Literally everyone had at the time between now and then and today has spoken and said, in more or less, that the movie exists. The past couple of weeks, Jason Momoa, Aquaman, has said he's seen it himself with his own two eyes, and that in his opinion, outside of a couple of things, it could be released now, and he feels like people would very much enjoy it. So that brings us to today. So over the past 2 days, there's been several key individuals who worked on the Snyder Cut of Justice League, the true cut of Justice League, posting various never-before-seen images, galvanizing, making sure the fandom was all at one, and said on this day, we need to mobilize and just retweet, love you too, and retweet and release the Snyder Cut to be heard and to be seen. And that is what was done from 11 o'clock, and it's still ongoing. It's still ongoing.
Hashtag Snyder Cut.
Hashtag release the Snyder Cut. Yeah. It has to be that.
Hashtag release Snyder Cut.
And release the. It has to
be
Snyder
release the Snyder Cut.
Yeah. And it's been amazing at first. But at first it was Big Von.
Big Texas.
Big Texas. Now that was, I have to say, well, just a quick aside, it had to have been very awkward, Von and his lady friend watching football, because it was his favorite team versus her team, the team from her hometown. So
Von, I'm going to play this one for you.
Yeah, so it probably was very awkward watching the Cowboys beat up the Detroit Lions.
What is it? Bittersweet.
Bittersweet. I know that.
Thank you guys.
But yes, and we were mobilizing. We were tweeting out our favorite images, GIFs, memes about the DCEU proper and the Justice League, and all of the stuff. And then it happened. First, Ray Fisher, who plays Cyborg, he drops a never-before-seen picture. He's always been ground level supporting the Snyder Cut.
Yeah.
He dropped something. And then Gal Gadot, who at this point hadn't really spoken at length about the Snyder Cut,
aka Wonder Woman,
aka Wonder Woman, hasn't really said anything, but she's always loved Zack and credited him with launching her career like he had, like it's been now. She drops a never before seen picture for the Snyder Cut. Internet goes crazy, blows up. In the first 5 minutes of that tweet being available and on Instagram, literally in the tens of thousands of retweets and likes. That has everyone goes crazy. So we're just going back and forward and go just crazy. Keep retweeting. We get executive producers. We get extras who've worked with Zack Snyder. We get co-stars who starred in Man of Steel BVS, tweeting their support and posting it on Instagram. Yeah. Then a couple of hours later, the man himself, Zack Snyder, comes out of hibernation to officially support the Snyder Cut, to tweeting out, release the Snyder Cut. And then, just when you think it is over, just when you think that is the pinnacle of it, the boss.
Oh, no, I don't think he's coming. Oh, no, D-Man was saying, where you coming?
The fun's looking too funny. And we're going to get to that question in a second. We saw you talking. We saw what you posted.
No, that was my Facebook. That was my Messenger. Yeah. So you can keep going.
Oh, that wasn't okay. All right. But just when it looks like it's going to, that's all. The man, the myth, the legend, the star of Gone Girl, Argo, and the town, Mr. Batfleck himself, Ben Affleck, just tweets out one thing: hashtag release the Snyder Cut. And mind you, we haven't seen Ben on anything in months since he announced
Yes.
he was retiring from the Batman role.
So let me just pause it right
Yes.
there. I have a brief question that you could expound upon.
Spit it.
With this, this is probably my main topic, my main thing to speak on. With if there's a success in the Snyder cut that was not found with the original Justice League, do you think that would in turn reinvigorate Ben Affleck to reprise his role? And if that's the case, then where does that leave Robert Pattinson's the Batman?
Well, first, let's just clear the air. It's not if. There's no theoretical. The Snyder Cut exists as a whole movie. It exists as a whole movie. It's not half of a movie, a quarter of a movie, 75% of a movie. It's a completely different film than what we saw in theaters.
Okay.
Secondly, if the Snyder Cut is a success, I can't lie to you. I do think that it may be a strong possibility that either the Batman either gets scrapped or they revert it definitively to a prequel for Ben Affleck. Now, do I think will he return to the role? I don't know. It depends on it depends on some of his where he's at mentally and emotionally right now. Because at the end of the day, as awesome as having the Snyder Cut is, and how awesome it would be to see Ben Affleck as Batman again, like I've always stated, his mental and emotional health is most important to the fandom.
Definitely, of course.
And if he still isn't there yet, or doesn't want to be involved with a major movie superhero franchise, then more power to them. More power to him. I'm not gonna be salty or butthurt about it. I'm just glad that he could potentially be in a safe space where his mind is correct.
And with that being said, before you keep going with your description, just a small sidebar, and don't just go too hard this time, but with the small sidebar, how do you feel about it's been coming out that there actually, from my own understanding, are a lot of butthurt fans towards Aquaman co-star Amber Heard. There's been a petition to take her out of the role as Mera in Aquaman because of whatever discrepancies her and Johnny Depp are going through right now. And how do you feel that would affect Aquaman going forward? And a lot of people, me personally, I thought Mera was okay. Amber Heard was okay as Mera. I didn't think she was outstanding, but I didn't think she was horrible. And where do you think that stems from, and how do you think that will go moving forward?
I know that Amber Heard ain't going nowhere.
Okay.
James Wan and Jason Momoa would literally have to be taken off of the film for Amber Heard to not reprise her role.
Yeah, because I was going to say Jason Momoa is really cool with her. I couldn't see him letting her just get kicked out.
And so was James Wan. Secondly, it has been well documented. If you choose to look into it any further, then that's on y'all. I'm not saying either way. I have. It is confirmed that any type of discrepancies or anything you could post put to Amber Heard's name as far as the situation with Johnny Depp has been false. It is documented in court that Johnny Depp was the abuser. He was abusing Amber Heard, and that Amber Heard was, in all of the instances of violence, was in self-defense. It wasn't nothing malicious. She was, in all of the claims Johnny Depp has made have been proven by the courts to be categorically false, or have no proof that she's done that. So there's that. And as far as this stuff was rather prevalent when the first Aquaman came out. This isn't nothing that's just now popular.
Yeah.
It's the same butthurt fans, abuse ignorers who are trying to get her off this movie, and it's not going to work, in my opinion. Like I said, it would take significant people being taken off of Aquaman 2 for that to happen.
And I know movie stars are really close because we've seen what the Guardians of the Galaxy cast were willing to do for James Gunn. They were willing not to do Guardians 3 if James Gunn's directorial status on that movie was not on there.
And ironically, now no one wants to see a Guardians 3 because they took that stance. So, but anyways,
I still think it's gonna make some money though.
But anyways, getting off of Guardians, but with the Snyder Cut, it's been amazing. Now, from what multiple reputable and some iffy, but mostly reputable sources have been saying, what happened today? Thanks.
Appreciate it. Oh yeah, hold on.
I had to. Even though I couldn't find a Batman shirt, but I still had to rep some Warner Brothers tie-ins, DC tie-ins. So I rep that MK, baby.
See, I only get the best. I only get the rich people stuff. I got this shirt from Walmart.
Yeah, and that's why we were so rich. We got the super gold chain that definitely not turning my neck green. But yeah, this is what happened today. Is being equated internally at Warner Brothers as the same situation they got Spider-Man back in the MCU.
Yeah.
The same type of fan embracing, the fan positivity. Just the simple fact that Zach, Dal, and Ben specifically, we haven't heard anything from Henry Cavill, which is understandable because he's doing The Witcher right now, and I'm pretty sure he's kind of very much ingrained in that, so he can't eat. So it'll be awesome.
We appreciate you for tuning in.
Thank you. It would be dope if we got something from Henry, but it will also be understandable because he's currently in a major project right now, so he probably wouldn't have time to speak on it at this very moment. But the simple fact that we got Zack Snyder, Gal Gadot, and Ben Affleck to directly, not indirectly, not just, oh, look at this, but to directly tweet out, release the Snyder Cut is... It's being taken seriously. Even there's been people, numerous hating ass blog sites in the past that tried to keep writing this off like it was a joke, like it was a myth, like it was a cover for why Justice League was bad, and ignoring the literal people working on the literal movie that doesn't have any reason to lie about this one particular project when they had other projects lined up, and there was no reason for them to just focus on the one project and create a lie about that. And now it's basically irrefutable proof now. Now we're no longer in the does it exist. Now we're in the should it be released, which is an obvious yes. Not because it'll necessarily be the best movie ever, but because it is the intended version of the movie. It's how it's supposed to be seen, and therefore it should be judged on those merits and not a Frankenstein's monster version of it. And before I go any further, or pass it off to you rather, I want to there has been a lot of other stars who were unrelated to the DCEU who have supported this. You have Damon Lindelof, who is the current creator showrunner of the Watchmen HBO series.
Which is winning a lot of awards right now. They're actually saying it's a really great show. I haven't watched it myself, but I'm planning on watching it. Regina King's in it, so
yeah, he's good friends with Zack Snyder. He's even hinted at the fact that he may have seen it himself, seen the Snyder Cut himself, and has sent his support out. Natalie Portman and Chris Hemsworth liked and commented on Gal Gadot's release the Snyder Cut, its image. So that was dope. Diane Nielsen, and for those who don't know, she was the former president of DC Entertainment.
Eric, what's up, my boy?
So for those who don't know what that means, she was essentially the Kevin Feige for the DC Entertainment live action stuff. She was the one who oversaw all of that. She was the one. And let me find the official statement she made in regards to the Snyder Cut. It shouldn't take that long.
With that being said, just a small thing. How do you feel about it being so many tangent lines in the DCEU right now? We don't know. We have the Flash movie. We don't know where they're going to take that. They got the Aquaman movie. We don't know where they're going to take that. We got the Joker, who's I am 150 million% sure that we're going to get a sequel to that movie. It made too much money. It has too much of an open-ended ending where they could take it any which way that there's not going to be a sequel. We have Birds of Prey. We have Gotham City Sirens. We have The Batman.
And now we have Black Adam.
That's Black Adam been confirmed. And we also have the possible reboost in this current timeline with Aquaman and Flash due to the hashtag release the Snyder Cut. We don't know what that might entail. If it goes to HBO and it does...
What up, Eric? I don't know if we saw no.
Yeah, I said that. It doesn't... we don't know what ramifications, good or bad, positive or negative, that releasing that Snyder Cut on for it to people to see would have on the DCEU as we know it right now.
Well, first let me read the statement off before I get to that point.
Okay, definitely.
The statement from Diane Nielsen, and someone DM'd her, and she responded and retweeted the response. Thank you for the courtesy of asking. If Zach feels he had the time and resources to finish a cut to his satisfaction, and he would like fans to see it, nothing would make me happier than for him to have that opportunity. He earned it and was not only a great filmmaking talent, but a true gentleman and professional in all his dealings with the studio and DC. And that is relevant because a lot of people love to paint Zack Snyder as this entity that's dude, bro, white guy supreme, only cares about explosions and sexual exploitation and blah blah blah, and literally everybody who's worked with Zack Snyder, man, woman, minority, or otherwise, have only spoken glowingly about him, how much he cares. The way he treats his extras have always been a sticking point for me, because he treats them like he would treat a Ben Affleck, with the same amount of attention and care and making sure they're being taken care of. And at the time, and I remember this, when the fallout from Justice League first started happening, I know a lot of people tried to throw Diane under the bus by insinuating she was one of the studio heads who were actively trying to fight against Zack and trying to position Jeff Johns as a pseudo partner who, even though he had his own motives, was still somebody who respected Zack's vision. And then later on, I believe it was late last year, she posted a comment out, or no, it was this year actually, but it was rumored late last year that her and Jeff, even though they had a falling out, because those two used to be thick when Jeff was in a high position at Warner Brothers DC. But then late this year, somebody had put out a tweet saying, oh, you know, her friend Jeff Johns, and she was like, Jeff is no friend of mine. So it's like all of these pieces are finally coming out over these 2 years, and we're basically now seeing just where everyone stood.
Small sidebar: D-Man said that the movie, the Snyder Cut, could actually be released on the DC app. I see that as a possibility.
Actually,
what's up?
Not the DC app.
Why not?
HBO Max. Specifically HBO Max, because it would be a marquee attraction for the streaming service. DC app, truth be told, is not doing well.
Even with Titans and Doom Patrol getting really good reviews,
they can easily put that on HBO Max because Warner Brothers owns all of it. So it's no discrepancy on saying if they need to scuttle the DC app, just put everything on HBO Max. Just like how we were talking about Runaways earlier. Runaways was on Hulu, and now that Disney owns majority stake in Hulu, they can just transfer it over to Disney Plus, and then Bob's Your Uncle. You can watch it and no change. Yeah. And that's what it is with the Snyder Cut, and being on HBO Max. Everyone will see it. Nobody, it's not just DC fans, it's everyone, because everyone wants to subscribe to HBO Max, to watch Game of Thrones, Cartoon Network stuff, yada yada yada.
Because you said it ain't gonna be on DC app, so he don't want you to shine, bro.
But they could.
Before, do you have any small?
I want to answer your questions about. Yeah, refresh my memory about that. You said, how would it affect the
DCEU right now as we know it, because it's looking like right now they're getting ready to put a lot of their eggs in the Batman basket. And as we see, I don't know, with Suicide Squad 2 and Harley Quinn, I don't know if they're trying to transition that era of the DCU out and trying to push the Batman, but with a resurgence, say the Snyder Cut does better than the Joker, you know what I'm saying? As far as views and reviews and all that, it's gonna make people think like maybe we need to keep this going with this type of mindset.
No, HBO Max is not.
They don't have a free membership, like a trial period.
It hasn't come out yet, so I'm pretty sure when it comes out, it will have a trial period. I don't believe that there will be any type of there won't be any type of stopping any type of things the Joker set in motion, even if the Snyder Cut is ultra successful. I think that if anything, the Joker's success is why we're even getting any talks of the Snyder Cut, because it's been rumors that the Snyder Cut may actually be R-rated. And might actually be, a 3-hour R-rated type movie, or something more.
So, are there still scenes that we haven't seen in the Snyder Cut?
Virtually everything in the Snyder Cut is different than what we've seen.
But have they been seen by the public? Like, we can go watch it.
Outside of the trailer stuff, and there is some stuff that wasn't finished, but that stuff could have been early stuff. But that stuff could be, because that stuff, the early test for this stuff could have actually been finished by now, because I remember that stuff coming out weeks after Justice League dropped Justice League. Let me correct myself. Justice League dropped back in 2017. So all of that stuff that was pre-viz and pre-release could have been well cleaned up and had VFX added to it. But I think that as far as anything stopping the Joker, it won't. It'll just be complimentary. Now, the other stuff, Aquaman's, Flash, Wonder Woman, I think that the reason why they were so spread out and why we haven't heard anything talked about it
is because I was gonna say we got a lot of press release about Wonder Woman 84 and it still hasn't had a trailer yet.
The trailer's supposed to be dropping next month. Okay. If not at the end of this month, early next month. It's either going to be Thanksgiving Day or running with Star Wars Rise of Skywalker, from what I've heard. But it'll probably just make it more clean when the Flash and Aquaman 2 comes out. And it will I know they will still treat Jason Momoa will still treat Aquaman's sequel in universe like it's following up on the Snyder Cut and not Justice League. That much I do know.
Yeah.
And like I told you off camera yesterday, the whole Flash where they were trying to make it Flashpoint, that wasn't the original plan. That was a Jeff Johns idea to try to write out Batman, but it was going to have time travel elements, but it was never supposed to be Flashpoint initially. When they first tried to get a major director, Rick Fumihara, who directed Dope and everything, that wasn't what it was supposed to be. So, and now it looks like it's trying to go back to that original form. So I don't see it majorly affecting that, nor Black Adam, which was something that, as we all know, was something that was announced when BVS was announced. So
how do you feel like Black Adam's gonna fare? Alpha coming off the heels of Shazam, which was definitely very, 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 very lighthearted.
Well, they already said that was going to be they were going to make Shazam lighthearted and make Black Adam more hearted. That was already announced in advance. And secondly, I'm actually very excited because the cinematographer who did Godzilla King of Monsters and did BVS is doing Black Adam.
So explain this to me. Is this Black Adam that we're getting? Because for all the geeks and gamers out there that don't know, Black Adam is not every 1-to-1 ratio of villain. In some of the storylines, he was more of an anti-hero. Is this Rock going to be an anti-hero Black Adam or a strictly villain Black Adam?
That is what The Rock has been pushing and saying that this is that's what they want, anti-hero Black Adam.
Like it comes to a point where him and Shazam meet, and
Shazam won't be in this movie.
Yeah, I know, but I'm talking about farther down the line. Like, you have it where Shazam might have different, and for example, Daredevil, Punisher was an anti-hero. Him and Daredevil worked together, but they had total different ideologies on how to work with each other, which caused them to conflict with each other.
There's been several things been floating around, and there's nothing concrete just yet. But I know one of the main things that's kind of constantly being circulated is anti-hero Black Adam. So all I can really say is just wait and see when the movie drops. But there is a specific movie that may change the direction and may end up definitely being swallowed up. I talked about the Batman earlier. And the other movie is the Suicide Squad. The Suicide Squad, I call it.
Hey, I like Suicide Squad 1.
But not 2. 2 is just like...
The only thing I didn't like about 1...
Oh, I'm not talking about 1. I'm talking about this specific...
I wish Jared Leto would have got those scenes that were deleted.
Everyone does. But the Suicide Squad is definitely... I can tell you firsthand, no DC fan is excited for this movie. It's not just based off of how David Ayer was done, which was he got the same type of deal Zack Snyder got by getting shafted with his version of Suicide Squad. Yeah. Release the Ayer cut too. And a lot of fans are not excited because James Gunn's attached to it, because a lot of the elements that were prevalent in Suicide Squad 1, that's being dropped. It's not nearly as diverse a cast as Suicide Squad 1 is, which sucks. And if the Snyder
Cut, who do got in there though?
And his name is John Cena.
John Cena's in Suicide Squad 2.
Even that probably won't get me to the door.
He's in Suicide Squad 2. You know it's a banger.
I hope it is. No, I don't. I don't want the movie to be successful.
Dang.
But in and of itself, if the Snyder Cut is as dope as advertised, that is just going to entice more people not to see the Suicide Squad. And if that movie flops, that'll 100% convince Warner Brothers and DC.
Oh, you D-Man said he really wants to see Suicide Squad too.
That's why
I'm actually one of the people that's actually not excited to see it, but I'm ready to see it. Like,
and that's why we love people like you, D-Man. because you go against the grain and you got your own opinion.
Trendsetter,
and we appreciate that.
But yeah, definitely.
But I personally won't waste my money on that.
From what the set shots I've seen, I want to see those the garbage Suicide Squad get murked early on, which is definitely gonna happen.
And I will catch them on YouTube if I feel like I want to see that. But if the Snyder Cut is as good as advertised, as much as it has been built up, and the Suicide Squad flops, then there is no doubt in my mind that Warner Brothers will revert back to Zack's original want and desire, and to have these director-driven DC movies that can stand alone, and if the director wants it to, can tie into other stuff. And the one movie that I feel like will benefit the most from a Snyder Cut that does amazing is Ava DuVernay's New Gods. She's a major New Godhead, loves Darkseid, loves Big Barda, Scott Free, Mr. Miracle, all of that stuff. And if she gets free reign on that without a studio head looking over her shoulder, wanting it to tie in, and she gets that freedom to work with that, that will be the biggest banger in her story. So that is my feeling about that. Birds of Prey, Harley Quinn stuff solidified. Because
Takia, appreciate you for tuning in.
Thank you. That's solidified because Margot Robbie's involved. She's the truth. So you're still in the same boat as me because you're not putting no money down. But Mark says Margot Robbie is the truth. She's the heat, and she's gonna bring with Harley Quinn. People are gonna move. You think the Joker made money? These Harley Quinn films are gonna do money, and I feel like the Suicide Squad flopping, even though she's in the movie, it's not going to hurt her. They're just going to go, she just doesn't work in Suicide Squad anymore. Let's put her with Poison Ivy and Catwoman. That's going to do better. So
let me just pause to shout out all our new viewers. Thank you guys for tuning in. This is Into the Qniverse podcast. I'm Q. This is QMG. We do this every Sunday at 7:30, around 7:30 to 7:40-ish. Catch us every Sunday. For all my people in different time zones, most people are from Georgia. That's an hour ahead. So 8:30, around that time. So you guys tune into that. And you always can go find us on YouTube. I've been a little lacking on posting our content, but I would definitely be posting that this week. All of it, Into the Qniverse on YouTube.
Along with other content like Newsbreak. Whenever major news drop, you can hear my sultry voice talk over it.
No, not like that.
And then we just launched Into the Q&A, which will be an editorial, not an editorial. What kind of is an editorial? Where you'll either hear my sultry voice or Q's sultry voice talking about topics that we find interesting and probably can't fit into this format. I kicked it off with my piece about Batman. Is he a hero or menace? He's a hero. And how much he gives back to Gotham, and he's not just beating up mentally ill people on the streets and tossing them back into an easily escapable insane asylum. He's actually putting a lot back in.
Appreciate you for tuning in.
Thank you. He's actually putting back into his community.
And we also have content as well as funny videos that we do occasionally. You can go to our YouTube website and watch those as well. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We definitely have some good content coming out. We're working on getting a little more equipment so we can bring out even more content for you guys. But you can go find us on the Into the Qniverse page on Facebook, as well as the Geeked Up Media page on Facebook, as well as my own personal Facebook, Quentin Ziegler at Facebook.com. Go watch us, subscribe, share, comment. Let us know what you guys feeling. But with that being said,
do you have any final thoughts on?
Nothing on the Snyder Cut. We kind of rounded that out, but I got two small things before we get out of here. You know I can't do a day of podcast without at least speaking on something Spider-Man. You know I gotta do it. So, just a couple speculatory things we got going on. One, Charlie Cox is rolling down that hill of continuity on being Daredevil in Spider-Man 3. We're actually almost there. They're doing a lot of stuff talking about him becoming Daredevil and working that angle where Spider-Man is actually being trying to get acquitted of the crime that Mysterio called, said he did. We're trying to make it there, and we're trying to get it going. Hey, you got just a little bit. We're almost done. But yeah, with Daredevil, he's actually almost becoming into the MCU. So with that being said, one more thing. We also have, they're in the talks. They're trying to do it. Into the Spider-Verse. We talked about this last podcast with Tom Holland, Andrew Garfield, and the one and only Tobey Maguire. It's not concrete, but if we push hard enough and we believe with all our heart, I believe that this would be possible. And I just want to know how you feel. And me personally, I feel like that's probably the best two things that happen with Spider-Man at this moment. I know you got a smaller, different opinion, so just let us know before we sign on out.
If he's not acting like a traditional Spider-Man and acting like a sidekick, all of that sounds trash. But if he acts like a traditional Spider-Man, then it sounds dope. So that's all I have to say about that.
Definitely, and I'm just ready to see. We're in a really good age, I think. Yes, definitely. As much as people are,
thanks to the people thumbing up, we see the thumbs.
Thanks for all the comments, the likes. And definitely, but I really do feel like Iron Man really started a trend. Blade really started a trend. The Sam Raimi trend. Big Mel, appreciate you for tuning in. Really,
X-Men, Batman.
Yes, really started something and laid the groundwork for the age of Marvel and DC and other like Dark Horse Comics and Sin City and all these other movies that are coming out. And I think we're in a really good age for nerds like the viewers and ourselves, where we get a lot of good content and we get a chance to really see what we grew up with in great CGI and great movie roles. And I'm just ready to see where we go in the next 10 years. But with that, they gonna do it, bro. Yes, I know, right? There's too much money left up for them not to do it. I know Tobey Maguire ain't gonna want to miss out on that money, especially if Andrew Garfield and Tom Holland hop on board. Yes. Exactly. If they get the source material and kind of twist it to set in the universe, I can see it going totally right. Because we're already getting Into the Spider-Verse 2 animated, coming out on my birthday. Well, 2 days before my birthday. But I'm definitely going to see that.
Shout out to Japanese Sentai Spider-Man.
Yeah,
that guy.
Hey, shout out to 2099.
Yeah.
But yeah, so with that being said, thank you guys for tuning in. We will be back, like I said, we start at 7:30 around that time. So tune in. This was Q
and QMG.
And you know how we gotta do. We got our stuff back up, so you know we gotta thug it on out. You know where it's at. There it is. Into the Qniverse podcast. We had to bring y'all that heat. You know how we do. We GQ smooth, and you know we always on our P's and Q's. Into the Qniverse. This was the podcast. Signing out.
Yo.
Out. That's it. I can find it. Nope.
See y'all.